know that you know that's your mistake right there. So I don't know if that's purposely done or what. So I try to leave the door open for him to talk without getting overly mad, because I fall back into that era to where this is how I was parenting him at the first beginning, because that's how I was parenting, because I didn't have a voice. So that keep popping into my head sometimes when I get overly mad, and that's a problem, because now that I changed my parenting style, and I go back to that, I end up hurting my son.
Right.
In the end of that, and now I turn into that parent like, what the hell you crying for?
Yep.
And then he shoot me in the head and say, you yelling at me.
Yep.
And I have to really dial it down, and I apologize.
Yeah, and I
bumped it.
On what you just
to him one time, and I told him I apologize. So he was like, "No,
it's the point that you even said it. He needs to hear it. Children need to hear their parents be wrong, apologize. The other part of it is when you can't do this, you're not a safe space. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Most people that don't do this with their kids, they don't do it in their relationships either. There is a correlation statistically in people that treat their children like this and people that go around and treat other loved ones like that. Who can relate to what I said earlier when I explained, like, a lot of us were raised where it was, when an adult was wrong, it was grown folk business. When a child was wrong, it was everybody's business. But yet you want the child to miraculously know how to express and articulate them being wrong or be accountable by the time they're 18, but you're not showing them. Who can relate?
I can definitely relate to that. I can definitely relate.
So can I. I can relate to that.
Who else?
B3, being raised in a dysfunctional household, I can relate to this 2,000%, because every time I witness my parents being verbally abusive to each other, and this, that, and drama, and this, that, and the third, I'm not allowed to understand what the hell was going on. But anytime I screw up, my bullshit gets put on front street.
And Linwood, when you think about it, right, as children, especially in our community, when we wrong, the adults make it a spectacle. When they're wrong, they don't want nobody to talk about it. There's a lot of us with parents that your mama will probably give you the cold shoulder, not talk to you, get upset, or say you're disrespecting her if you pointed out that she was wrong about something. It was deemed as disrespect to adults. But now watch this. When you take the children out of it, a lot of them weren't openly being accountable with each other. Not even just adult to child, but in relationships. You didn't see a lot of accountability amongst your daddy and your mama when it came to, because both of them done did shit that was incorrect. You're not seeing them apologize. Then when you get grown and you get in relationships, we're expecting each other to know how to apologize as adults, but we never seen it growing up. Never seen it.
My mother had her way of apologizing in like a roundabout way.
Yeah, they'll ask you what you want to eat.
I made that. This something that you shouldn't do. You know, she'll try to make it a teachable moment without saying she's sorry. Then she want to buy stuff to give us stuff.
The old folks in our
stay up and watch TV and you know, stuff like that. But she would never say that she was wrong. But she would usually say, I did this and y'all better not do this. You know, and this, that, and the
it's more of a statement. It's more of just,
I'm sorry.
I'm only,
y'all, I messed up. You know, a real teachable moment.
It's more of a, and it's a coping mechanism for them not to be accountable. Like when I say coping, it's to cope with the feelings behind the uncomfortableness of just having to be accountable. Because the idea is, and I know exactly what Adrian's saying, is when you say something like, don't go spend up all y'all money in 1 week like I just did. Rather than just, it's got to be about us rather than just saying you actually made a mistake, because it makes you feel better to word it that way. Then we grow up and you wonder why a lot of us struggle with being accountable. I know the old folk in my family, they'll just buy you something or give you some candy or ask you, do you want to go to the store? I remember we younger, you be done got in trouble or somebody be done got whooped for something they didn't even do. When the adult realized they didn't even do it, later on they come in the room, what y'all want to eat? This the apology. Or y'all want to go to the park? They ain't finna say nothing about how they whooped the wrong person ass for some shit that we in there trying to tell y'all we didn't break that. Like the dog knocked it over or some shit. We done got popped later on. You realize, through another adult, or, you just really looking at the situation, you realize you wrong. Ain't no apology in it. And then you wonder why we grown in relationships and a bitch dead wrong or a nigga dead wrong, and we are talking 100 circles before we just say, damn, my bad. I shouldn't have did that. That was a poor choice. It's the flawest shit ever. When you understand it now that we grown, it's so flawed. Go ahead, Antoinette.
No, I was just going to say that with my family, the biggest issue was they acted, like you said, they talked about each other behind each other's back.
Come on.
Disrespectful to the kids, was disrespectful to the man in the house, was disrespectful to themselves, but then would turn around and once we were adults, looking at them being disrespectful, we being disrespectful, now it's a problem. When we wasn't doing nothing but what you showed us. And I see that just a lot with my friends. Like, yo, you just told your daughter to go do X, Y, and Z, or you better not see her doing A, B, and C, but she wants you to do this thing on a regular basis.
And we as children, we model what we see is conditioning. Fun fact, next page, it lines up. It says our behavior is shaped by our conditioning. Conditioning is when you're programmed through repetition to acquire a belief or a paradigm. Once you acquire that, once you're programmed, it does not go away just because you learn something new. You have to unprogram yourself or shift your paradigms. You have to unlearn and relearn. And the idea is a lot of shit that our parents thought they were teaching us verbally, they were actually programming us the opposite through their actions. Like you saying, a lot of times when you see certain shit over and over again enough, it becomes a part of your character. And then the adult thinks that they ain't get that from me. A lot of us, we learn how to be fake, talk behind people's back, say flawed and degrading shit from our own parents and adults in our family. Somebody pull up at your house. Ooh, here she come. I'm so sick of her coming over. She's saying all this in front of y'all. Time she get in there. Hey, girl, come on in. What y'all doing? We ain't doing nothing. How you been? We watching you flip. You was just talking shit as Auntie was walking up to the house. We seeing this shit. Then when we get older and we doing it with our friends, look at her. She don't even got the new shoes on. Hey, let me see her new TikTok. The kids just mimicking what the fuck they seeing. When children are born, it's a clean slate. Everything is programmed into them through watching the adults that you exposed them to in the family that you birthed them in the community, in the life that you got for them. Because again, I stress this, we make the decision to bring children into environments and situations, and half the time it be about our own emotional shit. It don't be because we thought it out, planned for the child, got a safe space for them, have checked our traumas and mental health to make sure we in a good space to make home a safe space for the kid. Hell, half the females I know kept their baby because their mama projected religious beliefs onto them, or they did it to be able to try to keep a nigga, or they were in an emotional space that it felt like the baby was going to help me. And you got to think about how fucked up this is. And we've adopted, You're not supposed to be having children for some sort of personal need to cope with your traumas and shit. That's the most damaging shit. When you understand life, you understand that.
Having kids is a need. Like, you need to have kids. Growing up, we was told that was something you were supposed to do. In my mid to late 20s, my aunts and uncles and my sisters was getting on my case about not having kids yet.
I'm going to tell you something. In our community, most of the strong opinion leading women, they don't talk in the realms that I talk. Meaning, like, they will encourage you to make the same mistakes they made in an effort to not be the only ones. I'm like one of the few that if you invite me to speak at some sort of youth event, hold on. Some of y'all off mute. If you invite me to speak at some sort of youth event, I'm going to, if I'm just blunt, bash my generation in an effort to get the new generation to not do the dumb shit we did. I'm not going to get up there and encourage young girls to just, my body, my choice, keep having babies when you can see the nigga and you ain't prepared for a child. I'm never going to encourage that. I'm never going to encourage 15, 16, 17-year-olds to have babies at that young age and think that everything's going to be all right just because a few of us in our generation had babies at that young age and we, quote unquote, became all right. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to talk about every mistake of every old bitch older than me, my age, anywhere older than the girls I'm talking to in an effort to change and break the generational curses. I'm okay with being wrong and looking stupid and looking like the bad guy if it's going to make the generations under us, my daughters, somebody else's daughter, have a fucking fighting chance at a successful marriage, a mindset of financial literacy early on, not living in survival for the first fucking 20 years of their life. At past 18, like I'm going to advocate for that. Most of the females above us will justify their doings and generationally curse us to make the same mistakes with our baby daddies, in relationships, in life decisions. A lot of our parents, as grandparents to our children, are pressuring us to do the same shit they did, even though they know it didn't turn us out all right for the first 10, 15 years of our life.
Love, you say that, and you know what? You will say that to some kids or say that to some young girls, and it'll be 3 hoes come behind you that'll tell them same young girls that you crazy and don't know what you're doing.
Of course, Antoinette, I experience it every day. When I speak to young girls, I say this. A lot of them come back and tell me they go talk to their auntie or their mama or their cousins. I don't know what I'm talking about. Shit, bitch, if you want to have your baby, have your baby. If you want to have a baby from him, bitch, have a baby. I'm telling them our mistakes in an effort to be fully transparent without any of my feelings or ego or pride in it. But a lot of young women don't realize the enemies of their mindset are the very women that are around them and raising them. The ones that are okay with their daddy not being around. You are 100% correct.
When I got pregnant with my first daughter, their dad he was very vocal that he did not want to have the baby, right? No matter what led up to that, by the time I got pregnant, he was vocal he didn't want to have the baby. So his mother is actually one of the people that encouraged me, like, oh, you better not get rid of your baby, this and that. And of course, their dad was semi-around. He was on drugs, but she raised her kids on her own. But even as an adolescent and a youth, I was never taught, like, hey, your hormones are going to be raging. People are going to be trying to get in your drawers just for the sake of having sex with you. They'll play with your mind, play with your emotions. Nobody ever taught me these things. So like you're saying, it wasn't even my people encouraging me to do it. Like, it was his mom encouraging me to do it.
Yep.
Over her own son.
Yep. And a lot of that shit has to do with the mothers being emotionally immature. There's a lot of lack of love and support on the mother's end, and then they cling to their sons, and it's an unhealthy attachment. Like, Sierra, you know, it goes deep. But a lot of us as women have to get out of this mindset of my body, my choice, and into reality. And we have to start being more responsible that before I allow a man my sex, especially my sex unprotected, I need to have an idea of his views and his understanding of family and what he understands the duty of a man to be. Because if you go back a century or two, for our people, men understood, regardless of whether I cheated, didn't cheat, wanted to be in a relationship, didn't want to be with it no more. Men understood in this era there was a duty to handle the responsibility of providing for the child. That has since gone when this shit started, where again, the fathers are no longer valid in the lives of the children. You can't make somebody have a paradigm or a solid belief that I have a duty to any of the children that I help create when you don't deem them valuable at all in the upbringing of the children.
We
we was just told not to have them young, like in the house, like if we 16, 17, but if you out your mama house, you can have as many babies as you want. Yep. Have them young so that you can enjoy your life when they grow up and move out. You gonna be in your 40s, you still gonna be young. You know, it wasn't nothing about could you afford them. Do you have somewhere to go with them? Who is your village? You know, it wasn't none of those type of questions. It was just, if you do, you make sure you out of my house. If you have a baby, you getting out of my house. You know, it wasn't teaching nothing. It was just threats and all of that.
And Adrian, that's what still goes on. You're spot on. The young girls that I talk to, they'll do a one-on-one with me, or they'll DM me, and they, you know, these girls 19, and some of them 18, 20, they got relatives encouraging them to, yo, you pregnant, you need to keep the baby and things like that. I don't make the decision for them. But what I do tell them is you have to be real with yourself about what you're getting into. Too many of us was lied to, and like you said, we were just chastised. We weren't educated and fully prepped. And the idea is you will have your mother, aunts, people that will encourage you to make this mistake because it's a familiar mistake that they made, but they don't want it to be called a mistake or a poor choice. They will encourage you by saying, you don't need that nigga. I help you babysit. I help you do this. There are tons of us, high percentage of us, that can give the advice to these young girls that they will tell you that before the baby born. But once they born and you got children, them motherfuckers don't babysit like they told you they was at the baby shower. Soon as the baby out the diapers and, you know, somebody got to really watch them and it ain't just laying them up there looking cute and kissing on them. You on your motherfucking own, bitch. There will be emotional things that you will go through. It sounds great at first to say, I raised my baby by myself. Until the baby 5 years old, nobody won't babysit. You low on cash. You ain't got no resources outside of the people that you already done exhausted your help with. You looking at the daddy go up on the internet with another bitch. Like, these things start to weigh on your mind. A bitch ain't finna be there with you when they don't talk about none of this. When a girl go to talking about, I'm pregnant and he telling me to get an abortion and I just don't know what to do. They crowd around you. Girl, we'll help you. Don't let nobody, you ain't got to not. Instead of giving them the reality. I want a bitch to make their own choice, but make it based on what the fuck is really going on in the world. Not based on what we sugarcoating for you behind our fuck ass traumas and our inability to be accountable for what happened to us when we got pregnant young.
And when I tell girls that, they think I'm talking about their mama. Saying that they
Adrian, we is.
You know,
this,
all that stuff.
I want you to understand. I firmly take the stance that I do. I talk about your mama, your grandmama, your auntie. All of them bitches bad for the culture. All of them that's encouraging young girls to make the same fucking mistakes, passing on the same mentality we had when we first birthed our children. Something they need to be fucking talked about. Didn't they talk about bitches when we was younger, when they wasn't doing right? I be talking about their ass. I don't sugarcoat the shit because it is damaging to our people. It needs to be talked about very bluntly for what some of our mamas was on some fuck shit. I love you, mama, but you did some pussy ass shit. I love you, mama, but you was in your feelings. And a lot of the things that you said about my daddy was a fucking lie. A lot of the reasons why he couldn't come around had to do with your emotions and what he did to you in your relationship, not how he feel about me. And there's a lot of us as women, older women, we can't stand to see a man come around and give our kids that affection he wouldn't give us, that we wanted so bad. And we got to acknowledge it hurts. It feels uncomfortable. It's not a good feeling to have to try to deal with. It's so triggering to watch a nigga pull up that I used to fuck you. You used to fuck me. I done helped you before. I done did so many things in the relationship that you won't acknowledge. You never gave me credit for. You never gave me my apology for cheating on me. You never paid me back for the shit that I went through with you in a relationship. You was a fucked up boyfriend. It's hurtful to watch these niggas pull up, pick up the child, barely say what up to you, don't really respect your views on certain stuff, ride off, spend time with their jit, bring them back and watch the jit be happy about their daddy. It's hard. But this the shit we not talking about. We'd rather pretend like most of these guys are deadbeats and we just are not doing anything wrong. So you mean to tell me these feelings I just described, you got all these bitches on you and you operating in a co-parenting situation being fair? Bitch, get your ass out of here. I'm knowing what you thinking. I'm knowing what you do. I done thought them same thoughts. I done watched my peers think them same. You sitting there like, man, how the fuck? I carried this baby. I birthed her. I made the decision. This nigga pulling up ain't really saying shit to me. Don't give a fuck. Only reason I had the baby was because I was trying to make it work with him. That's a tough space to be in. This is why we need therapy. This is why we need to group up and hold each other accountable. This is why we need to have these type of conversations to talk ourselves through it. It's a lot more math behind the madness. Who can relate? I've been there. I know those feelings. I know tons of women that are in those feelings right now. It's hard to be grown. It's hard to be grown. It's hard to be grown when you feel that way.
Yeah, I went through all that shit just being a single father and trying to be there for my son. Especially but not even knowing how to be there. I just know I'm gonna be there. I told myself that when she got pregnant, I'm like, man, I want to be there. Whatever it takes, whatever it needs. You know, I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm just going to do what I need to do. But it didn't work out like that, so...
Frank, you develop a jealousy. You damn near develop a jealousy of the other person that you're taking on all these responsibilities more than them. They're not really showing you. This is the root of a lot of co-parenting friction. There is one parent that is wildly envious of the other and not envious like I want to be you or be with you. But it's like I done had to sacrifice a lot of shit over here and I'm getting no awards for it. I want to tell the young people, ain't no award coming for the shit you sacrificed for your children and they don't owe you. And sometimes the shit is one-sided when you co-parenting with somebody that didn't really want the baby in the beginning or didn't want you after the baby got here. And it goes both ways in this shit. And we got to try to co-parent and do what's best for the child through these feelings, but we ain't talking about these feelings. Go ahead, Frank.
I was in your co-parenting Zoom one day. I had to stop my truck because, like, you was saying some deep ass shit. And, like, once the Zoom was over with, the one thing that you had said that stuck in my fucking head, you was like, shit, motherfucker want to come get these kids, you gonna do your job. Like, I'm not gonna keep that from you. You want to pick them up. And I'm like, man, fuck that. You don't come get this responsibility. That's how it was going through my head. Come get this responsibility. Shit, I've been having this motherfucker check. Come get this responsibility.
Frank, you know my saying. Let these niggas get this work. Let fathers deserve this work. This shit is work. It's work.
I said, I was like, shit, you gotta come and get this responsibility.
But the thing is,
I was like, you know,
I'm gonna tell you something. Frank, the thing is, as mothers, when we birth these babies, we're so in control at first, based on our mindset, based on the way things are set up legally nowadays. You have to genuinely open up, relinquish control, and let these men get this work. This is why a lot of men are disconnected from being a father. They want to be better, that they got certain views and stuff they want to do, but the idea is we're breaking the bond early on. We saying shit like, you know, certain stuff that will make a nigga mentally disconnect. We're pushing them away instead of pulling them in to get this work. You ain't got to want me for me to be a real woman and understand my child needs this bond with both parents. They need it, regardless of what I think about you in regards to our relationship stuff. It says, go ahead.
My kid's father was on drugs, so his family got that work. You know what I'm saying? His mom and his daddy, his sisters, because he had like 14 sisters and brothers, they got that work. You know, they all knew that my kids couldn't, you know, go with him or nothing because he was, you know, doing some foul stuff. But they got the work. I let the people that love them, that's some kin of them, because people be thinking just because it's unsafe for the daddy to have the kid, that the family get cut off. I don't cut the family off. I didn't cut the family off. I let the grandmama get that work, his sister them get that work, all of them called and they was involved. So I just used it as a village, you know, in a sense, as to take the pressure off of me, because I knew I couldn't change him.
Right. A lot. I'm gonna tell you something. It's so many of these conversations that need to be had with us as adults amongst other adults so that it could be understood this is not okay. And then we can start working on changing it, making the necessary changes in our character, in these little unwritten rules we got in our community. It's so important that we start really looking at this shit for what it is and stop just going off of how we feel. And this is why for me, because I'm very logical, I can relate to a lot of men walking the fuck away, consciously walking away, family members walking the fuck away from children based on the unpleasant custodial parent. This idea that I gotta fight you to be able to get access to my children, especially for a lot of men when they look at, family court and things like that, and you look at statistically, it is a losing game for a lot of men. A lot of niggas like, if you want to act out that bad, bring the court system in, all in an effort to try to have things your way. Hey, just have it your way. Then when they do that, then you mad at that. It's a never-ending cycle, and all the shit hurt the children. It's like a game that we don't realize is a game that's fucking us over.
Yeah, one of my
nephew. Frank, let me get the mic for a second.
Oh, go ahead.
My nephew, yeah, I'm gonna give it back to you. So my nephew, he had his first child at the age of 26, and the child he had was with a 36-year-old woman, and it was her fourth baby, right? So they broke up in the midst of her pregnancy, but she would never let my nephew get his baby. So she had this stipulation like, oh, because the baby's an infant, you got to come over to my mama house or my house and spend time with the baby here. She wouldn't let the baby go off with him. And then as a couple of years passed, his son, like 5 years old at this point, started letting him get his child. But my nephew's child kept wanting to have his iPad to call his mama in the middle of the night, like, Mom, come get me. So my nephew's like, no, you can't have your iPad. And you're going to stay over here. You're going to stay with me. Mm-hmm. So now the mom won't let him go over there no more because, he's denying him access of his iPad to be able to call me if he needs me. But this is his biological father.
But Sierra, listen.
You got 10 years on his head.
Yep, I want you to understand. We have these warped mentalities that the parenting situation deems us the judge, and then everybody else is the players in our courtship, right? It's so you know how many men going through that? What you talking about? The women say they can't go no more because they can't call they can't call the child all day long while the child with you. Like I've watched my brother go through that. I've watched other family members go through that. I've watched my fiance go through that same type of silly ass shit. All because these women are programmed.
On his head. Like, oh, you need to get your baby. You don't deal with your son. That's wrong. The bitch won't let him deal with his son. How is he wrong?
Yep. And then when you say that, you got a bunch of retarded ass females that'll be like, what you mean? He better fight. Why should somebody have to fight to have access to what they're legally responsible for? Y'all bitches on crack. And I don't blame a lot of niggas for walking the fuck away. Because it is the children are being used as a pawn for you to get the attention that you thought you were going to get in the beginning by having them from this particular guy. It's a play on your emotions. It's the fucked up shit your mammy taught you. And it goes on so often. I'm just one of the real people that's willing to admit. Like the video I did, 70%. And I could probably go up to 80. Like if we go all the way up to the end of this year, it's probably a higher percentage than that. They don't got no fucking deadbeats. They got a warped, retarded mentality. Bitches was raised wrong. They raising the kids wrong. Everything is about power and control and emotions and mad by the new bitch being in the picture. Nothing has actually to do with what the children need. And it's so fucked up for our culture. A lot of them were parented like that, so they don't know no better. It's sick and it's sad.
And I ain't gonna even lie, I have done something like that when I was younger. And like I didn't even really have valid reasons. Like I really just was making up stuff because I didn't want my child to go with him because he wasn't really fucking with me like that.
Yep. I'm Jessica. I'm going to tell you something. I love that she said that, right? Because it's so many of us, we are not willing to admit. If y'all just watch when I be online, how many women play crazy. 70%. What you mean keeping them? These niggas is deadbeats. Why you won't talk about that? Girl, I am a mother, right? I have a baby daddy. I know what the fuck be going through our mind. Who the fuck you think you fooling? Just like Jessica just admitted, we will sit there and make up a reason why the kids can't go with their daddy. Just because, like Jessica said, because he ain't fucking with us or doing something with the kid the way that we want. And this shit is a part of our culture. I've been in relationships where the baby mama will say, well, if I can't meet her, you can't see your kids. I ain't even watching these kids. Like, I'm the type of one, I don't babysit niggas' kids, and I'm not that type of stepmama. Like, I don't do that. I am attracted to men that are real fathers. If you see me with a nigga, that nigga's a stepper by his children. You don't bring the kids to my house and drop them off or leave them at home with me when the children are over here, right? As the non-custodial parent, you're right there with them, and we're doing things as a family. I done seen bitches make up all kind of shit just to try to get in the girlfriend's face. Don't got shit to do with the child, nothing productive for the culture. They just doing this shit based on feelings. Thank you, Jessica, for being willing to be honest. Most hoes is not. They're going to swear up and down it is some legitimate thing. Now, a lot of women will get on a one-on-one in private and admit this. I've had plenty of women, like Jessica just did, get on a one-on-one, and they will admit. I did a one-on-one last week when I had my one-on-one special. A girl explained, like, she don't want her baby going with the nigga unless, she don't want the baby around the girlfriend, is what she's saying. She running it down, so it gets to the point of the conversation. I'm asking, okay, what did the girlfriend do? What about her track record with you and the child has you feeling this way? The phone was quiet for over 2 minutes. The girl just sitting there trying to think of, and she was like, I'm going to just be honest, love. It ain't really no reason. I just don't want my kids around her. And I don't even disagree with you having a certain person you don't want your kids around, right? Even if you don't got no reason. The problem comes in when you're using that non-legitimate reason as a reason why they can't go with their father. Now you're actually a detriment to the child. You're actually a problem, not the nigga. You're the problem. You will literally just pick out random shit and deem that a reason to deprive them of love from the other person that was a part of making them. And this shit go on so fluently in the hood, in poor communities, in the urban culture. It is a norm, but we get online and act like it's not. I'm just real enough to be honest. So thank you, Jessica, for that.
So y'all make a baby. Y'all really wasn't liking in the first place. Y'all, when do you deem that he can go? Is it because they already had a relationship to baby 5? What do you deem a 5-week-old? Like, to me, and I guess I'll be transparent, I only denied access on the strength of you ain't got no other kids, you don't know how to take care of one. Now, I would like to think when he's old enough.
Okay, so Ophelia, pause. Ophelia, pause. So she said, you're basically saying I denied the kids going early on because the man don't know how to take care of the child because he don't have no other kids, correct?
Correct. And the child is 12 months old.
Okay, so now watch this.
So he didn't come around
Okay, so now watch this. All of us at one point had our first baby. We did not know what the fuck we were doing. You didn't take no fucking parenting classes when you had your first child. Bitch, you winged it. And you went off of what your mama told you, your aunties, relatives. If I'm your baby daddy, why the fuck can't the baby come with me? My mama and my sisters and my family members will help the same way a motherfucker helped raise me. We have a warped mentality that somehow we just all of a sudden know more because the child came out of our pussy. When in all reality, we make just as many mistakes parenting as men do. And like the book said, a lot of parents do not actually want to admit that. And because of a lot of our mamas wouldn't admit to us, they didn't know what the fuck we was doing half the time. Half of us fell out the bed under 12 months. A lot of us went through a lot of different sicknesses and shit that came from our mothers and what they exposed us to. It's a lot of us, we done been in the emergency room under the care of our mother. Who the fuck are we to tell a nigga he don't know what the fuck he doing? We don't be knowing what the fuck we doing. Now you think about this. In our culture, right? The majority of the single-headed mother households, right? Headed by a woman. These households, they're the custodial parent for the child. When you go, and because I do this for a living, when you go talk to social workers, most of the house calls they come out on, peep this, I talk to social workers. Most of the house calls they come out on for abuse of a child or neglect of a child or endangerment of a child is the female custodial parent with some fuck shit in her household. A nigga she chose beating on a child or touching on a child. This ain't the baby daddy. This the bitch that said, this is my child. I'm a better mother than the father. The kid stays with me and not DCF over there. Most of the cases involve the mother in some sort of negligence sitting around the people she chose. And they give her a parenting plan and they let her get chances to get the child back when she make mistakes. Y'all baby daddy make one mistake and now for the next 9-10 years, he can't get around his kid. DCF come in because you made a mistake genuinely. Like my kids done did shit under my watch. My youngest daughter, she done ate a Tide Pod, all kind of shit when she was a toddler. And we had to rush to the emergency room and the little DCF people come in there and ask you what happened 19 times to make sure your story done changed. Shit like I wish a bitch would try to come and tell me I now can't have access to my JIT for the next 9 years because I made a mistake. Pussy asshole, show me who perfect. But we talking to niggas like we perfect. I'm just real enough to speak on this shit. I done been in the emergency room behind shit that done happened with my kids on my watch. My daughter Paris, under my watch, done wanted to change her TV. I got mounted up on the wall, can't find the remote, went and got a stool, climbed up on that bitch, fell off, and broke her arm. She broke that under my watch. So my baby daddy should come over and say, because she fell and broke her arm, give me this baby. You don't know what you're doing. I'm taking her now. Now you don't get your child. Hell fuck no. Correct me on what I need to be corrected on. Let's get my child sought about, and I'm going to pick up where I left the fuck off. How come we can get that grace, but niggas get one chance? Makes no sense. Ophelia, you weren't right. Sorry, honey, but you were not right for that. Does not make logical sense.
No, I appreciate it. That's why I fucks with you. I can take it.
And I appreciate you for receiving that. On everything, I appreciate you for receiving it. I have much respect for women like her, Jessica, those of y'all in these Zooms that you're willing to be honest, because all I'm interested in talking is real shit. No sugarcoating, no none of that. I've been there. I've made mistakes. So I'm willing to only have conversations with like-minded people. That's why I'm so picky about this book club. I have no time to sit up with a nigga or a bitch that's going to keep going in circles about their feelings when we're talking about real life logic and trying to fix this shit. It says in
the sugarcoating is what got us messed up. It's all the sugarcoating. If it came out right and told us in the gate, we wouldn't be right here.
Right.
You know, it's the sugarcoating part that don't want to tell it, the secrets. Just let them find out.
Yep.
You'll find out without nobody guiding you, nobody saying. Everybody wants you to make the same mistakes they did as opposed to throwing the pillar down. You know, you don't get that kind of in our culture like we need it to be. You know, where people need to, where your heart at, where your moral, where your good person. You know, because you always talk about the good person, raising your children to be good people.
Yep.
You know, not always trying to get over on somebody. Not always want to live the bum life and see how much they can get over with before somebody get tired of them.
Yep.
You know, raise your kids to feel something, know something, and be able to handle that stuff and deal with life without the sugarcoat. Because that's what's messing us up. The sugarcoat.
Yep.
So
we're not having these. We're
like
not having these real conversations, and part of it is because it feels uncomfortable. When I say stuff like what I'm saying, it feels uncomfortable. So it's like if you weren't, this is us now as the children. We weren't raised to manage our emotions or even process what we're feeling. So now as adults, when we feel uncomfortable shit, we retreat. We don't want to talk about it more. We want to not talk. That's why we in the day and age of a bitch hanging up, not coming around. You ever had somebody do you wrong and then they leave you alone? They stop fucking with you after they did you wrong. Just because they anticipating the uncomfortableness about you confronting and holding them accountable for how they tried you or did you wrong when you didn't wrong them. You got grown motherfucking adults well into their 30s and 40s that will stop talking to you after they fucked you over. All because they don't want to have an apology conversation.
Because they don't want to be wrong. I was trying to say earlier, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you just really don't know how a other people affect your children.
Come on.
Just yesterday, it's crazy that we having this conversation. Just yesterday, my boyfriend and I drove up to where his son lives with his mother, and we spent the day at her house with his son working on a project for school. And she was just telling me, this is his ex-wife, is telling me about how his son enjoyed his summer. He's been talking about you all summer. I got to learn how to make French toast now because this boy, all he asked me for. But having those extra, once you can get over the whole relationship part, your child having that new relationship with it be the father or the mother, it exposes your child to so much more information and so much more. She was having trouble teaching him prime numbers and composites. And that's like one of my things. We sat, and that boy can tell you every prime number on the spectrum, every composite. And she said this is somewhere she was really struggling. Now, this is my boyfriend's ex-wife. From day one, we sat down and we got an understanding of each other. And it wasn't I want to know about you just to know. It was an understanding of where we stood in these two people's lives, my man, her child, and how we was going to make this happy for everybody. We ended up spending the next weekend in Orlando at Legoland, having a ball with all of our families, her mother, my father. All that was brought together.
You gotta, Antoinette, you describing the it takes a village, and you're describing how you have to be grown and mature. You got to get out your feelings and into logic. Like you said, you might be the stepmama that you're good at math, and my son with my baby daddy is struggling with math. I'm over here worrying about if he bringing him around you. You need to be the first person he take him to. We ain't thinking about resources for our children, but a lot of us, we were deprived of resources because of our mama's feelings. So we believe that this is the right way to do things. A lot of us, our daddy got pushed away. Go ahead.
I said that to say this. I got home today. We got back from out of town, and my boyfriend went to work, and I was just relaxing around the house. And Sunday is usually my day before book club. I call my family. So I called my dad, I talked to him, and I called my mom, and I let her know about my weekend and how I had pulled my hamstring, and my boyfriend's ex-wife did some therapy on it that helped it 110%. My leg is 100% better, and it was bad. I could barely walk when we left here. And my mother went off. How you gonna have that girl touching on your leg and doing this to you and doing that to you? First of all, because she's a doctor. Second of all, because she's a friend, she's another person out here trying to make it in this world just like me. And just because she shares a child with my man is no reason for me to dislike her.
And Antoinette, how about because she can fucking help? She can help. It's a resource. I need help. This is the same thing I be saying when everybody worrying about people positions and shit.
All the resources, and she wanted to really. I'll be 43 next month. At 43 years old, she tried to impose on me why I should hate this woman that I've actually grown to be very good friends with, all because she and my ex were married at some point in time.
She don't understand the value. She don't understand the value in resources, and you got to think about it, Antoinette. This is the person that raised you. Similar to how a lot of us realized with the people that raised us. They never saw value in this. It was more about the gossip and what they felt. That's why in our culture, it's so many women worried about if my baby daddy gonna take the kids around a new girl rather than if me and my baby daddy gonna actually get it right to be a solid front for our children, a solid foundation.
All her questions were about the material things, well, what the house looks like, and what she drives, and she don't know. I've actually known this girl for almost 3 years.
But even if you didn't, Antoinette,
I brought it up to her.
None of that shit is relevant.
Our interactions, right? But everything in her conversation that we had on the phone today was trying to make me hate this girl for no reason.
I got a question for y'all, right? And anybody take a shot at the answer. I'm genuinely asking. I know what Antoinette is saying is true. I know that all of y'all can relate to what Antoinette is saying. We got mothers and aunts that do this. We got peers that do this type of shit. We've done this type of shit in co-parenting relationships. Why, when we get out in public, like for example, online or a platform like mine, why do we as women not hold each other accountable when we start pretending like we don't do this kind of shit? Like, why do we just keep swimming in this pool that has this false narrative about all these black men is just deadbeats and they just leaving their kids, all of them. Every situation where you see a single black mother, they all is just deadbeats. They left their babies. Like, why? I'm speaking to us as women, because women be very vocal with me on disagreeing. Why are we why are we doing this? Like, what's the point in like playing crazy? I can't understand it, but maybe one of y'all could help me see the other side. Help me drink some of the Kool-Aid that they drinking.
I guess people please love, because when you do speak up and you do say something that other people disagree with, they gang up and everybody want to come against you. It's like you really just have to be strong-minded and be able to stand against the world when it comes down to that, because it's gonna always be a group of them that's gonna sit here and try to convince you that you're wrong, and you're gonna end up arguing, going back and forth, and just be doing too much.
So Renee, right? Renee, you're right, but what I'm asking is, because what you're describing, that's what happens. I'll say some real shit about women being accountable, because I ain't dumb. There are more females lying and keeping kids away than there are niggas being deadbeats. I know that for a fact, because I talk to social workers. I've read the statistics. I'm in the trenches. I know it for a fact. But what I also know is that y'all, as fellow women, y'all know it too. Niggas know it because they know how they being done. Y'all know it too. I guess what I'm getting at is, what are we trying to accomplish? Like, let me come on the side of the majority of females. What are we trying to accomplish by pretending that we're not doing this when we're doing it? Like, help me see the value in, if Love Dorsey was going to advocate for y'all and keep up with this lie, what is the benefit in it?
It really
to keep the whole income tax.
Take a swing. I'm asking, like, if you're one of these females that feel like Dorsey is wrong, she's siding with the men. Females do not be keeping these kids away. Niggas be doing it. We know it's a lie, so I ain't never finna go against the truth. But if you want Dorsey to come over to your side, Frank, you want me to be one of the women that get online and lie about what's going on, sell me on it. Sell me.
Can I tell you what I think?
Go ahead, Frank. Sell me.
Okay.
I just want to throw my little 2 cents out there on what I think it is.
Okay, go take a shot.
So what I think it is why women act like that and give these false narratives on what their baby daddy doing is the circle that they hang around. So whenever they say something, that they do something, they gotta have somebody that will talk to them. So once they tell them about their situation, they come back. So now they gotta uphold the shit that they said. So now every time this dude do something that you don't like, it's gonna trigger what you said, how you feel about your child. Now your child becomes your property instead of a child.
Okay, so I get, Frank, I get that as a why. What I'm asking is, like when I preach what I preach, I can sell you on why what I'm saying is better for our community. I'm saying, you want me to come over to the dark side. What is it gonna benefit me to go be a crybaby lying bitch like y'all doing? Like, what? Tell me, because I'll come do it. If it's gonna benefit, what is it gonna do for me, our children, or is it gonna make these niggas do better? Like, sell me on it. I'm saying, just play devil's advocate.
They can still be the victim opposed to victim.
They just gonna be the victim. They just continue to play victim role.
But does playing victim? Does playing?
They want to keep the whole income tax check. I have literally watched women accuse their children, accuse their baby daddies of inappropriately touching their children to keep the whole income tax check, to keep their Social Security.
Okay, so Antoinette. So Antoinette, I'll take that. So one of the benefits of being one of these lying bitches about niggas being deadbeats is that we get to keep the whole income tax check. Okay, I'll take that, right? So now, if you selling me to come to your side, and I'm like, okay, we get to keep the income tax check. I like money, right? But now, if I make, part of my motivation an income tax check, in order to get taxes back, you got to stay below a certain earnings, right? Because people that earn actual wealth or are very, very stable, they're not worried about an income tax check. They're paying taxes because of what they earn. So basically, I gotta actually say that again.
I said if I'm making $25,000 a year, I get to continue to claim victim.
Right.
I get the whole.
Right, but hold on. I'm asking because this is what I'm saying. Let me finish though. You selling me. So, okay, I get to keep the whole income tax check because the kids is my dependents. I'll get the EIC credit. But I got to keep my income low this entire time. So I get to be a victim and keep an income tax check, but I also got to keep myself basically broke the majority of the time, right? And then on top of that,
less than $24,000 a year.
I got to make
less than $24,000. You can get the food stamp. You can get a little check every 2 weeks. You get Social Security if you drank a little bit and made sure the kids was a little off.
Okay, so I can get so hold on. So if I come over there with y'all and pretend like my baby daddy is a deadbeat and keep the kids away, I could put them on child support, get a little money. I could keep the income tax check. I can get the welfare. But I'm never gonna grow into that woman that I want. I got to 86 my goals, like the goals I got for being a multimillionaire. The goals I got for being like a top earner, the goals I got for myself to travel the world. I gotta, basically just keep the kids stuck up under me. It ain't adding up to being working.
You didn't say I had to have them goals. You didn't say I had to have no goals. You wanted my reason.
No. I'm saying, listen what I'm saying, babe. No. Listen what I'm saying. No, listen what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, hold on, somebody need to mute because it's background. Hold on. What I'm saying, Antoinette, is for me, right? What I'm preaching and what I'm on right now, the perks of what I'm on is that we get to grow as women and become more than just a baby mama walking around with kids swinging on the hip, worrying about income tax and child support checks, earning low incomes. My perks. So
my bad. I thought you were coming to the dark side.
Right? No, I'm saying, but if you gonna get me off this side to your side, I got to see more than just I get to get the income tax check. Because on my side, I can just keep grinding, letting my baby daddy get time with his son or his daughter. That way I can have time for my multiple streams of income and building myself, and then I ain't got to chase no tax check. So for me, the tax check don't sell me.
If you in a house with a mama that made the tax checks seem like the lottery, and the monthly check, at the beginning of the month, everybody in the house is happy, and, we can get a little something extra to eat, and we're going to get some McDonald's, and,
Right, but for me, this is what I'm saying. For me, right, outside of trying to come onto the dark side and be one of these people that keep their kids away from their baby daddy, the food I eat, like the lifestyle I want for me and my children, can't no tax check or no food stamps get me that. You see, for me, I'm trying to see I guess what I'm saying is when I look at women that are on what I'm on, the things that we're accomplishing is way above the shit that the females on that other side is accomplishing. The day-to-day stress and drama they under, the trauma that they endure going back and forth with their baby daddy, the things they worry about, it's so low vibrational in comparison to what you're able to accomplish as a woman that is sharing custody. Their child has multiple resources. I don't see no perks on going to that side is what I'm getting at.
But what is if the bag is their only high? The bag is their purpose. The bag is what they're looking forward to. How can you evolve people's, these young ladies' minds to more than just the bag? Because nobody's saying do X, Y, and Z, educate yourself, making sure you're emotionally okay, and then get the bag. They say get the bag.
But this is what I'm saying. I am. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm one of the only few saying this stuff about what we're doing in co-parenting situations. But coming behind that, I'm also telling these women, Here's the stuff you need to worry about. Multiple streams of income, management of emotions, using your resources. Kids don't have to swing on your hip all day long. You can still be a good mother when you're not your children's sole provider. Joint custody is better than sole custody when you have two able-bodied working adults. A family unit is built behind unity and doing what is supportive of the child's growth and development, so that when your children are 25, 30, they're not still dependent on you like a lot of the people y'all see in the dating pool, because they was raised off this say, I'm giving all the stuff to come behind to let your baby daddy see their kids. I'm not just on the internet saying, let your baby daddy see the kids. I'm saying, let him so it can then do this, so this can do that, so the culture can change with this, so you can elevate in this way, so he can understand the responsibility behind having kids in this way, so the gap can be bridged with this. Like, I'm bringing this shit full circle with breaking generational curses. I just don't see no value, and I have met no one yet to sell me. I'm willing to be sold on going to the other side. The other side is supportive of. No, I know. We role playing the scenario.
Right.
Love, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so a lot of times, and this is, this is a choice ultimately too. The women who do that, they need somebody to check up on them.
Of course.
Because they didn't have the community and resources growing up, and so they leave their baby father, and they get into a situation with somebody else, another nigga, who got them under that muscle, where they can't talk to nobody, where they isolated. So they need somebody to check up on them. And so they start keeping the baby away from their daddy, or doing shit that they may not want to do, but they do it for safety.
Yeah.
So they won't ask me or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. This is why I be saying what I be saying. What I can't understand is that in a room full of women, we know we be doing it. Every time I'm online, when a bitch disagree in my mind, I'm like, why do we do this with other women? Like, I get you probably don't want me to say this out loud on my platform in front of men, but this is coming from a woman. I know what the fuck we be doing. We'll pick out hey, I don't want my child drinking out of that orange water bottle, so he can't come over there with you anymore. We will make up anything, and we will get our mamas and our sisters to ride with us on this stupid ass shit. The problem I have with it is the statistics show that children that don't have a father active in their life turn out the worst product. Statistically proven, right? So as a mother, if you say that you fuck a nigga, right? I care about my jit. I move how I move for my child. If somebody comes show you that, hey, what you're doing, although it may make you feel better, although it may expose certain stuff about your baby daddy, it's actually gonna have a high percentage chance of fucking your child up. You still want to do it? And we like, yeah. I don't get that. It leads me to believe y'all don't give no fucks about these children. You don't. Because if you gave a fuck about the children, there will be certain things that have to do with your emotions and your ego that you would set aside for the sake of it being a statistically proven fact that your child needs this. Go ahead, Antoinette.
No, I was just saying. It's literally a dog eat dog, get the bag world. And kids don't make you no money unless they on somebody's Social Security, welfare checklist. And that's all the value that I see the people around me putting into their children. What can I get out of this deal? What can I, what is the school giving away for my child to get through the school year, instead of what am I going to put into my child so they can get through the school year?
Yeah, listen.
That type of.
Yep, Antoinette, you're so
much, and that's triggering for me since we on this book, or since that's our next book. It's very triggering for me because I'm watching a lot of children in my family literally be pawns and used between relationships.
Yes. And Antoinette, you are wholeheartedly correct, because I'm telling y'all, I talk to the people that DM me a lot on my platforms and stuff, social workers, guidance counselors, because they know I'm a voice to like the people who kids they parenting, right? In my hood, I got peers that went to school with me that they will beat you up by their child. But I know for a fact right now, they love their kid enough, they'll whoop your ass if you try their child. But I know for a fact right now, the guidance counselor at their kid's school is trying to reach them via email and phone calls about their child's reading level or their math scores or an EIP plan at the school or behavioral issues, and they can't get in contact with them. But if you made a post right now and said something about their child, they'll flip the table on your ass like Erica Mena on Love and Hip Hop and snap on your motherfucking ass. But the teacher right now can't get in contact with them. So for me, I'm already knowing we just as flawed as the niggas that we talk about. There is a lot of things that us as women can sit around and speak on that niggas do flaw in the hood, in the urban community, in the low income households. And there's just as much bullshit that we doing as parents that supposedly as moms, we're supposed to be the best for these kids, and we shoving them into the worst.
I love that live you do where you talk about how you would jump on to the parents' live right with everybody else to have the conversation with their kid right on that live.
If I was a teacher, Antoinette, if I was it couldn't, bro, a bitch better hope I don't ever decide to go educate in the school system. I'm not emailing shit. I'm going to be on your live. Ma'am, your son did not turn in his homework last night while you on live talking about log in. You finna tell everybody what your baby daddy did. Bitch, can you email me back about what the fuck's going on with your son? Matter of fact, DM me back, ho. Send me a TikTok. I Snapchat your ass. I'll be getting active if I was an educator. Because that's what he holds at online in a nigga DMs. I go to the baby daddy house, tell him, text your baby mama that Lil John is failing in math. I bet she texts back. Because she always texts you back. She never texts me back as the teacher.
But look, there would still be no accountability. She'd be ready to fight you over texting everybody else trying to find her.
At least Antoinette, because you're right. At least I'll be able to tell the principal that I did notify the mother and she knew. Because these hoes is pretending like I ain't get the emails. What paper you sent home? He didn't give me the paper. The teacher, I sent the form home 3 times. He didn't give me now one of the papers. Okay, we sent you 2 emails. I ain't get no email. And I checked my spam. Man, we made a couple phone calls. I've been having issues with my connection. Bitch, I was on your live. I seen you see me comment on your live. Ho, I DM'd you on Instagram. It said red, bitch. I messaged you from my iPhone. That bitch said delivered. Ho, you got the new iPhone. Fuck wrong with you?
He was that first Friday last week. You seen her that first Friday.
Exactly. For now second do I buy it. Niggas might buy it. Some of the modest women that, they ain't really from the culture I'm from when it comes to this type of shit. You can't, it's like my page is the most dangerous page to get on and try some bullshit when it comes to this type of shit. Cause I'm in the trenches with these women. I'm alongside. When I'm out in the community, teachers stop me. Keep doing what you're doing because the stuff you're saying about these young girls with these children is true. Principals, guidance counselors, the fucking art club and boys and girls club counselors, they write me. I know what's going on with y'all kids because they telling me. They giving me time. Hey, next time you go live, talk about this. Hey, I had a little girl in my class with this going on. Talk about this. Male teachers tell me all the time, Dorsey, I love what you're doing because when I get a new class, I can tell which boys got a daddy in the house and which don't. How can these men tell this? How come your son teacher can tell that your son don't got no male figure, but y'all claim everything all right and you got it and your baby daddy don't need to be around and you doing it the right way and everything gonna be all right?
Because you can tell when a child thinks like a woman or when a child is thinking like a man. And you listen to some of these little boys talk, they sound just like their grandmothers.
Yeah, but they cry about everything. They cry babies. They cry babies. They don't know how to be redirected. Ooh, girl, please. Lord have mercy. Jesus.
I know a person, Dorsey, when I tell you to this day, she will pretend that she the best mama you can lay eyes on. And I lived with you. You is not the mama you put on Facebook. Not even close. And it's just to see it in real time. To act like, to me, this shit happened on TV. But to really see you one of them women out here who say, oh, I'm this, my kids will never. Your son don't even like you for real. Your daughter ain't with you half the time. It's like, to see it, it's like mind-boggling to me, even though I know it happens.
But we don't want to.
Not being real.
Listen, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to have a conversation. No real shit do we want discussed. And I'm saying this for us as women. We don't want the real shit to be discussed. We don't. It's a lot of women that feel just how Ophelia feels. I'm not letting my baby daddy take my newborn baby because he don't know what he's doing. But you at one point had a newborn baby and you didn't know what you was doing. I got a family member right now. She just turned 18 and she has a baby. She don't know what she doing, but we letting her keep her own baby. She alone right now with her baby, most likely. And we know that she don't know what she doing. We know that. But nobody's saying that stupid ass shit that we say to niggas. We're letting an 18-year-old child, because she's still the child in the mind, have a whole life to be responsible for. And we're willing, because she's a girl, we're willing to let her do that and just say we'll support her in it. What's wrong with supporting young men in their decisions and their willingness to want to be around their children? It's one-sided and it's wrong and it's bad for the children.
I agree. I was going to ask Dorsey, like, I be confused when women trust themselves to have these babies, but they don't trust the man to raise the baby or be around the newborn. Like, I don't understand how that even sit in the same space. Like,
Well, to speak on me, I would say the way they flipped during the beginning stage of the pregnancy, on which I know that's holding on to my emotion, and then not showing up. His mindset dealing with a narcissist was, I'll wait, because I went through IVF, and Love, you'll probably remember me when I get into the story, and decided to have a baby. So because I did not use my egg, I used his sperm, he thought he was going to get the baby. So he was cool with being absent for 5 months, thinking using the court system. Now, he went to court on me, served me papers in the hospital. So for that, I feel, that's why I use the word, I felt like in my mind, I'm willing to co-parent. I've been there. I co-parent my twins. My daughter's in UCLA right now.
So Ophelia, can we be honest? And this is a part of the conversation that people don't like to be honest about. Can we be honest? When people be checking, and this is a lot of women. Can we be honest? When these niggas be checking out, leaving, and Frank, I already know you right here with me. When these niggas be leaving, checking out, distancing themselves, it don't be having shit to do with whether he care or not care for the child. That shit be about the shit going on between us as adults. And I'm finna show you something. All I had to do was explain this to Frank one time and he understood it. For those of y'all that know Frank in this Zoom, Frank is a single father. Frank stepped in, took his baby mama to court. Long story short, he has custody of his son. His baby mama became an absent mother. The narrative that Frank's baby mama is some bad woman or a deadbeat mother, she is not. Frank handled the fuck out of her based on his ego when it came to the court shit and getting things his way. As a man, he's willing to admit, I handled her motherfucking ass. Me handling her was too much for her to bear. A lot of people cannot take all these fucking games and tit for tat and this shit you doing where you try. So now that Frank understands that the reality of it is my baby mama walked away from me, not from our son. I made it where it was very uncomfortable to come around and get the child because of the ego space I was in off of showing her after she tried to handle me at first. This some adult tit for tat shit. The woman love her son. The woman is a mother. The shit between her and Frank got ugly. Now he's trying to fix that. Something a lot of women is not willing to do. He's willing to bring her back in, admit that he pushed her away, admit that his actions was a part of the reason why his son ended up going through a certain amount of time without his mother. He's willing to take on. This is something that bitches will never do. Never do. Never go to their baby daddy and say, listen, them 5 months that you was absent, I understand that had to do with me. Instead, what we do is we pretend like it has nothing to do with us. We act like the nigga is a no good nigga and don't give a fuck about the child. We go around and tell that story to everybody to make his character look like he's the villain, we're the victim. And that's not real. For me, I question a lot of people as I see this shit go on and I watch them say that they Christians or they spiritual. Like, if you really believe in a higher power and you have ethics and you believe in, you know, a certain doing of wrong and right, how the fuck y'all hoes think y'all gonna get away with this? And I don't mean get away with it like a nigga gonna check you or how do you think that this is just going to disappear as you meet your maker?
No, them kids gonna find out real quick.
I ain't even talking about the kids. I'm speaking just from a standpoint of if someone is, let's say, for example, a Christian woman. Like you might got the internet food and sold up. You might got your family food and sold up. But bruh, talking to somebody like me or your higher power, bruh, this shit ain't right. This shit ain't right. Ain't shit right. Like, y'all gotta think. I sit and I listen to women try to explain from the bottom of their fucking vagina how their actions are correct. And when they get done, I, in like 2 sentences, point out how that shit is not right. It's not hard to understand when you get out your motherfucking feelings and you become a real mother. It's not difficult to understand that we be dead ass wrong.
Right.
We want to be in karma.
I've been sitting here for the longest. I've been trying to, you know, I think I'm a hustler by nature. Let me change that. I got God has gifted me with plenty of talents, gifts, and abilities that I can use, very fluently. So I'm sitting here all this time trying to think of how I could sell you this fuck shit,
right.
You know, and I can't even sell it to you, love, and I got a gift for gab. And I've been sitting here for a while, like, well, maybe, if you making money, you can use all the power and be prideful, and then that's...
Because the money is so poor. The money is...
Nothing makes sense.
I'm finna tell you something. Yes, Frank. The reason, but I'm finna tell y'all something. The reason why you can go get the slickest talker of the slickest talk. Go get the hustler of hustlers. They won't be able to sell me on this shit. The reason why is because the stuff was programmed in us through systemic racism and where we come from as a people. A bitch don't know that this shit was orchestrated past just they small mind in they small town with they fucking baby daddy. It's a part of a bigger agenda. That's why you can't sell it. The reason why is because the single mama mentality is tied to welfare. It's tied to crippling, especially black men with their economic power. Like, it is designed behind the whole system of laws that was put out there through systemic racism and a certain agenda to lock them the fuck up. You know, like Dr. Umar and a lot of people explain 9 keys. They will break this shit down to you because they're higher level thinkers when it comes to just what's going on around us. A bitch in a hood somewhere really believes this is about me and my baby daddy, and he don't want to be with me, and I don't want my baby around that girl. The real agenda is about keeping black babies dumb as fuck, unstable, no real resources, so we can make them buy into the shit that we put in the music through funding the big artists to sell their people a fucking bullshit ass mindset, right? And you will create the next generation. You will create the next generation of dummies who will vote for the wrong shit in politics, who won't go downtown to the fucking meetings in the community. They don't give a fuck about what judges are appointed on the benches. And these motherfuckers stay longer than the motherfucking president. We more worried about who the president, but in your community, the people that's locking the niggas up is the police officers, the police chief, the fucking judges that sit in the drug court. And you got to think about it. There are a set of laws that were designed. Like, I could break this shit down and a bitch still thinking about, well, my baby daddy don't got no business. I gotta meet the baby. This shit is so much bigger. I feel like Nino Brown on motherfucking New Jack City. This shit is bigger than Nino Brown. God damn it. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and when you don't understand it, you will always just talk about how you feel. Every time I see a African American female comment one of them paragraphs on my Instagram or my Facebook trying to disagree with what I'm saying about black families, I die a little bit inside because it hurts me to see my people so stupid they can't see the agenda when it's right in front of us. It's easier to take a person and sell them on not knowing who and what they are, change your gender halfway through your life, not value the concept of relationships. It's easier to sell women when we're broken and emotional. I want y'all to just marketing. If you take my marketing Zoom, I explained there are marketing strategies designed to sell people based on emotions, right? And the idea is one of the biggest consumers of a vast majority of products when we talk about the economy being stimulated is women. A good majority of them is black women. If you ever get the chance to talk to a wealthy, higher level adult of a different race than us, and when I say higher level, I'm just talking about their economical status, right? How much money they got, how much money they touched, the generational wealth they're around. We some of the easiest people to sell because as soon as you appeal to our emotion, we will just believe it. It's where the concept comes from. If you want to keep a secret from a nigga, you put it in a book. This is why you see me on lives yelling, read, bitches, read, niggas, read. There is such a bigger agenda. This is not just Love Dorsey just saying some stuff for her own personal gain. Half of y'all don't even know. Don't know you, don't know your baby daddies, don't know your kids, but I care about the fulfillment and the fruitfulness of our people moving forward. This is why I'm trying to get y'all to kind of look and see what's going on outside of what's going on.
We appreciate it too, love. We so appreciate that.
Oh, I know y'all do.
I do.
Every one of y'all in this Zoom, I know y'all do.
100%.
I know y'all do. My issue is the people that don't yet appreciate it. The idea is you're uneducated.
So Dorsey, today I had a conversation. Well, I didn't have the conversation. She had it, and I listened. She was complaining about a teen kids, right? Just fast forward, they running away, they doing drugs, they having sex, and I'm like, okay, well, where is the chaos? Because they didn't just wake up and become this. She's like, well, their mama abandoned them. Oh well, shit. Went off at the front porch and drove off and promised she was gonna come back and never did. That's totally different.
We don't like to talk about the root.
And that's what I told her. I said, you're sitting here with me, a woman you don't know, and you're talking about your stepkids as if they're doing something to you. But you never started with their mama left them and their dad don't protect them from you. Well, I say, you look aggressive. You aggressive as hell. You started with calling them
so
out
Chrissy, right. But okay, so now what about, and this is another part of it with us as women, right? I've dated men, I'm sure some of y'all have dated men where he is not doing right. Like just cut and dry. This ain't no feeling shit. Like this me talking. The nigga is doing wrong. His mother can see that he's doing wrong. As a fellow woman, as a fellow black woman, she can see that her son is doing wrong and she has influence over him. She says nothing. She encourages the wrongdoing. She is a part of the support system that keeps him doing the wrong. We don't ever want to talk about this. We'll argue with that one mama based on dating her son. But as a collective, we never want to sit and discuss amongst women how with our sons, because they daddy wasn't around, based on whatever we had going on, we knowing our sons got some fucked up ways. We will ride this, that's my baby out to the end with no real accountability to better our son's mindset, to make him tougher and more of a man to be. This is why we just need men around. We need men.
I love all of y'all in this book club, but this is the first time I actually felt proud because the shit that y'all been saying, I avoided all of that shit with having one son.
But it's Frank. I'm gonna tell Frank. It's but listen. It's sad. It's sad that the stance for black men that aren't going through this type of shit is, thank God I only had one. Because you can tell, like, I'm sure y'all know from Frank talking, he's a man that nobody could say don't care about his kid. And if he had more kids, I'm 100% certain he go hard for them like he do for his son. It's sad that the narrative is not, damn, I want to have more kids with a black woman or black women. It's like I know you do, but I'm saying in the context of listening to what we're saying, you now know you got to be careful. Because you fuck around and have another one, Frank, with one of these women we talking about, you're going to be back in court, fighting over nothing, getting called a deadbeat when we know you ain't.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that stuff.
I ain't saying you were. I'm saying it's a lot of men just like you that was never worried about that, and it became their story because they made a bitch feel some type of way.
Oh, yeah.
The right woman, and you know this, we will create the fucking narrative.
But thank you.
You're welcome. It says, in order to parent with conscious awareness, it's helpful to identify patterns that might have an impact on how we react. It says, when we are stressed, we often regress and get caught in old patterns that may or may not be helpful. A lot of us as adults, when we parented and when we were parented, our parents didn't realize this, and we didn't realize this until in this recent year of doing this self-work. We didn't realize, like, there's some shit I address, but then when I get stressed or overworked, or I'm in a space where I'm going through some new relationship shit, might not even be with my baby daddy, I then regress back to old behavior that I tried to purposely change from. Who can relate?
I definitely can.
It's important.
I feel like that's
go ahead.
The hardest part about learning. It's the hardest part about learning new information.
Yep.
It was one of the books we read where you get caught in that cycle of beating yourself up because I've learned this information, I'm reading it, I want to apply it, I want it to do better, but now I'm in the moment. Now's my chance to apply it, and I can't.
Yep.
I go back to the same thing. Now I'm beating myself up. Now I feel bad.
This is, Sierra, this is when books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, what else? Unfuck Yourself. What else? Whatever It Takes. These are
one on meditation.
And listen, the meditation comes after you realize that what I'm working against a lot of times is triggers and habitual behavior. Like Antoinette can introduce meditation to me. She could introduce yoga, a number of different stress relieving activities, right? If I'm not fully aware that what I'm trying to fix is habitual behavior that's triggered by certain shit in my unconscious mind, certain stuff with my paradigms, my core beliefs, my programming, when we get done with the yoga, I'll go right back to doing the bullshit. This is why when I say stuff like meditate, yoga, things like that, people will do it and come back and say it didn't work. And I'm sure some of y'all have recommended certain books or certain stuff. And if the person didn't get a real understanding, they come back and, yeah, I read it. It ain't do nothing. It ain't work. Well, what if we did that, love, and it ain't do nothing? You got to, first things first, you got to understand your traumas, where you get your ways from. We didn't just get like this. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of us that really believe my narcissistic ex-husband or my baby daddy did it to me. You have to be some sort of damaged person to attract a narcissist. They're not attracted to whole. Listen, this is the part. We have all these podcasts and all these people talk, oh, he was a narcissist. I heard one of y'all say earlier, yeah, my ex who was a narcissist. Great. I believe you. I genuinely believe y'all. The part y'all leave off is those type of people have a type. Ain't no narcissist jumping in my DM. Ain't no narcissist taking me on no dates. The reason why, because you can't pour that shit on me. Ain't nobody gaslighting me. Ain't nobody, because time you do it, you did it to try to manipulate me. I got your ass somewhere feeling uncomfortable. You came in as a predator. Nigga, you ended up a prey because my mind's so woke. I done poured into myself and worked on me and checked myself in so many ways. I done checked my generational curses. I'm always evaluating me. I'm an open book to my children. In my relationship, you can't come around me with the fuck shit. When things don't make sense, my eyes wide open and not from an emotional space. I'm asking questions because, nigga, I get horny by learning. I'm attracted by learning. You arouse me by teaching me something. So when you tell me some shit that don't make sense, you finna get a fuck ton of genuine, from a feminine space, questions that your narcissistic ass is not finna be able to answer. I ain't leave the narcissist alone. They left me alone.
Thanks.
Niggas that's into games, they pass me up. I ain't out here saying I don't fuck with these type of niggas. Them type of niggas don't fuck with me. They don't. If I tried to pull one, I don't think that I could. They get uncomfortable.
I used to feel bad that my DMs wasn't as booming anymore like it used to be. And I'm like, Chrissy, you're not even in that fucking space no more. These niggas already know. Like,
they call me sis. Sis.
Yeah.
Auntie.
That's
them niggas, they jump in my DM. Damn, sis, you talking that shit. Boy, you describing me to a T. I ain't gonna lie, I was like that with my last baby mama. But keep doing what you're doing, sis. Nigga know to call me sis. Because you already knowing that shit ain't going on over here. I don't have to say, oh, he's a narcissist, or oh, because I know they have a type. What I'm working on is not being that type. I ain't working on exposing them as a narcissist or a gaslighter or a liar. My nigga, you could be whatever you want to be. I'm going to be what I know attracts healthy. The sooner we as females get more attracted to that than trying to expose a nigga, the sooner you won't even have them type of niggas coming down your block. It ain't about being, and it's not about being strong. It's about focusing on just being a grown woman. Like the whole concept is when we talk about dating, I'm not talking about the Love Dorsey online. When you're dating a woman like me, all I care about is remaining in my femininity. So if you give me too many situations where I'm coming up out of what I know I'm supposed to be in, that's my red flag, not because of you, but because of me. I gotta go. This is bringing out parts of me that I'm not trying to be. This stuff I went and worked on the hills, and I know that it's not necessary. It's not necessary for me to have a relationship. I worry about me and just being a woman. I want to smile. I want to laugh. I want to stay in my place. You want to order for me at the restaurant. You want to get in the door. Speak when spoken to. The idea is, in my relationship, my man is the man. He don't got no choice. If he was anything else, he'd have left already. Because I ain't doing it. I'm not taking out no motherfucking garbage. I'm not fixing shit. I'm not doing nothing but looking cute and being a helpmate and doing my part to support him. And being a mother to my children. A mother. Not a mother and a father. Just a fucking mother. You will never see me online saying I'm the mama and the daddy. Y'all tell me happy Father's Day. Bitch, I'm a mother and only that. Bitch, it's hard enough keeping up with just that. I ain't nobody daddy. I'm a mama, and that's all the fuck I want to be. And my children know from a child, I'm a mother. And I'm not your only resource. You better utilize family. I don't give a fuck whether I fuck with them or not. You build your own relationship with them. You need more than me. I don't know everything. Even as a Love Dorsey, my kids know I don't know everything. They get rides and resources and money and time and all kind of shit out of everybody in the family. I taught my kids how to work. They motherfucking went through all through this bitch. They know how, if mama ain't available for it, they know how to call uncle. Uncle ain't available, call granddaddy, call stepdaddy, call your real daddy, bitch, call your cousin, call your godmama, call the lady across the street that's familiar with, call them. They're resources to you. I built this shit a certain way. You good. If I can't do it, you still good. That mentality, if I don't come through for my kids, ain't nobody gonna come through. I don't know what that feel like. Everybody come through for mine in some of the same ways that I come through.
Well, when I was in that mindset, a lot of that was like really fear-based. Like, it was like I was raised to fear everything that I was actually supposed to go through in life. The things that I was supposed to take care of, bills, relationships, all that stuff. When I really, realized what my true problem was, It was, I lived my life on fear. I went to work every day on fear that my bills wasn't going to be paid. I couldn't get along with my man out of fear that he was cheating. It was just so much fear in behind the way I lived my life. It was, for me, it was really what drove me, or actually what attracted narcissists.
Yeah. Yes, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. When you hear, it's the most ignorant shit I see females do. We sit and we talk about what type of man we just experienced. And we don't realize in every word that we use to describe the man, it also describes things that are wrong with us. And this, in the simplest form, to not trigger yourself, just think about like scary movies and murder movies and things like that. The killer targets a certain type. They don't go and pick out people, watch this, with a strong foundation and women with fathers in their lives. And they go pick out a bitch walking in a dark alley by themselves, lost, blind, crippling, crazy, and knock their ass across the head. So when you think about this, because I'm telling y'all, I really studied this. Social scientists study these things. When you look at even the most criminal of criminals, I'm talking about when we get into serial killers and people that molest and rape children. These people are studied, right? They studied so we can understand their ways and shit. There are so many different documentaries and college Harvard papers written on pedophiles and things like that, and they explain one of their main keys on targeting which household to pick out children to molest are ones without fathers. And y'all hoes running around, bitch, I do everything by myself. Ain't no nigga laying up over here. These is the households the pedophiles target. They look for kids and little boys, little girls that don't have a solid father figure. When I'm seeing this shit, I'm over here. Hey, my kids got uncles, got daddies, bitch. I got brothers coming. I got relatives, men in my family retired from the military. They got their gun license. They told, bring your fuck ass over here, fucking with us if you want to. Men pulling up. Y'all over here, it's just me, my 5 sisters, my mama, ain't no men around. And the pedophiles is on documentaries being recorded saying, I go into schools and different communities and I look for women that need help with certain things. They don't have men around because men see shit that we don't see as women. We be operating out of fear, right? These niggas be having a strategy as pedophiles. Y'all hoes don't even realize this independent shit, it fucking lines up with what they want. Y'all grooming them for these type of people. Looking for boys with low self-esteem, no father figure in their life, not too much access to men. I could come around, play mentor to him. He has self-esteem issues. And this is when you get him to, hey, touch right here. Does that feel good? Turn around. I'm just going to rub on your backside. He's scared to speak up. You took that nigga daddy away. Now he don't got no fucking voice. I understand this about the damage that we doing. And I could go deeper, but when you ignorant and you think everything is just about you being mad at your baby dad, hoes don't know the first about what the fuck they're doing. And when I'm raising my daughters, because I'm raising all daughters, I make sure they know, even when you're dating, my oldest daughter, men need to know that men is coming behind you. You need to lead with, when you on dates with these niggas, your father is in your life. You not only have one father, you have 2. You have a stepfather and you have a real father. And you got uncles, and then your mama got uncles, and your mama got brothers and other men that's willing to pull up, bite you. Watch this. Niggas that beat on bitches, it make them think twice. If every time you hit this female, you was finna get your ass beat to damn near death, you would think twice about picking this type of female. And when they interview niggas that's locked up, that beat bitches or pimp hoes and shit like that, they look for women with no men around. And y'all hoes steady walking around, fuck these niggas, ain't no men around, bitch, it's just me. You're a prime example for a pimp or a sex trafficker. Y'all hoes want to go on these trips, don't want no niggas to know where y'all at and shit. You're the perfect type to scoop up at one of them hotels or a resort somewhere and take your ass to another country and stick it in every hole you got. Your daughter being groomed for that because you done developed her into a space of a certain fear that men aren't valuable. I have never experienced in any relationship, even my worst of worst relationships, of a nigga trying to put his hands on me. It's not because I'm no better than women that got hit. My people's coming about me. My father is coming about me. When a nigga meet me, he meet my dad. If I call my dad right now and say the fucking table in this motherfucker need the leg looked at, he coming. So a nigga knowing if I put my hands on her, she got her fucking big ass older brother. This nigga be having guns and shit in that goddamn Jeep truck. Like her daddy around every other day. No, she gonna tell these niggas. She already vocal. Like it ain't going down. I'm not their type. What you said, Frank?
Because I teach my son, because I find every opportunity to teach him something that kind of goes with what I've been showing him throughout, him raising him by myself. So today I was talking to him. He got some little friends over by my cousin apartments and everything. So the little boys, I want to say about 6 and 8, but he friends with the younger one. The younger one look up to him. So they come outside, they ain't got no shoes on, they ain't got no shirt, and they stay all the way around the corner. So I'm talking to him, telling him like, they missing their daddy out their life just like you missing your mom. He was like, well, what you mean? I was like, well, I don't allow you to come outside with no shoes. And I said, you know why? So he goes, yes, I won't, go to the hospital, I won't step on the shore. I'll be like, it's protection. You always need to protect yourself even when I'm not around. I said, but they don't have that. They don't have that guidance that I'm giving you. But you don't have that nurturing side that I can only give you so much of that. Because I'm going to treat you like a boy. They got the mama, but they ain't got the dad.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah, of course. I told you. So, school teachers call this out. School teachers can tell which boys have fathers or men influencing them in their upbringing and which don't. And bitches is still walking around like, my son's straight, he fine. But strangers can look at your son and tell with his interaction with other children that he's missing his other half. But we as the ones with them every day, for some reason we play blind as women, like we don't see what the fuck going on. It takes a village. It takes for you to purposely build a group of resources made up of men and women to support your child. That is what it takes to thrive in this world, not the opposite.
I was watching a Netflix documentary called Scouts Honor the other day, and it was about the Boy Scouts, and they were saying that they went after the kids that had just the mother in the house.
Yes. But this is the thing. I want y'all to understand this, though. I've read books on this stuff. I've read documentaries and papers that were written when they go into prisons. The worst of the worst. The people that are like habitual child pedophiles and men that have been to prison multiple times for beating on women and taking advantage of women. Men that have sex trafficked and grabbed up girls that not underage, but like 19, 20, and took them and manipulated their mind into, and they've had these men explain your strategy. Like explain, give me your blueprint on how you pick out motherfuckers. Majority of these criminals target single mother-headed household products. And then we right here talking about, bitch, I'm going to raise my kids by myself. It's a bitch pregnant right now somewhere saying, I don't need nobody. I'm going to take care of my baby by myself. It's a pedophile somewhere saying, yeah, do that. Yep, do that. Raise them by yourself and groom them into that same mentality you have so I can catch the motherfuckers in a dark alley somewhere with just your stupid ass and knock you out and take them.
Love, I'm realizing now that my mom did parent me out of fear, and out of her fear of something happening to me, she kept me away from most of the males in my family. Like I wasn't allowed to spend, time with them or anything. It took a male friend in college to tell me, like, you're putting yourself in vulnerable situations, because she would say, do this, a man will do that.
he's gonna do this to you, but it was out of fear and emotion.
Yep.
But when I felt comfortable and I didn't feel like he was a
you
danger,
was wide
there was
open.
no logic behind
Yep,
it.
you was
it
wide
wasn't,
open.
Don't do this because of this. It's don't do this because of emotion.
Yep.
When I felt like I was comfortable, I was wide open. He was like, I know you're not a bad girl, but you put yourself in positions to where if somebody wanted to do something to you.
You was green, Jamie.
So naive.
You was green. Your mama made you green, and you're the perfect product at a college campus for a nigga to rape or gang rape or manipulate you into believing that you his girlfriend when in all you're the perfect type. And not just niggas. Mean girls target people like that. You don't have a sense of value in men and women. You have a fear for men. We could play on that. You ever seen a group of girls bully a girl? You a perfect product.
She even going back to keeping babies when they're young. She put the fear in me that, men don't know how to handle babies if they're crying or upset. He'll shake your baby or he'll, do something to your baby. And I was keeping my baby closer to me, or when he had him, I'm constantly checking in and what's wrong with this and what's going on with that. And he did start to kind of keep him less. But I had to come into myself and be like, look, you had a baby by this man. He ain't done nothing to you, and he's not going to do anything to this baby. But she's the biggest, like, somebody don't do something to your son. And she'll tell me, if
trauma.
they do, it's your fault.
Listen, trauma. Trauma. I remember my daddy wiping my ass more than my mama. Trauma. And the thing is, when you don't have a upbringing where men are valued, it's hard to understand what I'm explaining. But from my perspective, it's hard to be y'all on the other side because every male in my family is active with their children. Like, if y'all met my niece, I posted her on my page before. She's 1 going on 2. She don't like nobody but my brother. That's the only changer. But her own mother. If you my sister-in-law, if you met her, she would tell you, like, I'm sick of my baby. She tired of her. All she want is her dad. She ride his shoulder all day long. He's taller than all of us, so when we holding her, if he come around, she want him to get her because she's up higher and can look over the whole room. She only want him to change her clothes. Only want him to bathe. I don't know no other way. He damn near take care of a baby probably better than I do. Same for my uncles. Same for my dad. Same for, this shit with this rape, I call it rape mentality. Fear somebody, if you go back to before your mom, either she experienced some sort of sexual assault or something with the child, or somebody above her did and programmed her. It's all fear-based. Because when you go to therapy, they will give you tools and things to work through your fear and your trauma and understand it's not a reality. Like nowadays, females will watch a movie where the stepmama did something to the children and then go out and act like they baby daddy girlfriend as the stepmama finna do something to their kids. It's retarded. It's y'all gotta really
the presence of a man.
Say that.
Just the presence of a man, and just the presence of a man in our home changed my life. My mother left my father when my brother and I were 3 and 4, and during about a 3-4 year period, my mother was single before she met my stepfather. So my brothers and sisters, my older brothers and sisters, they were all teenagers at the time. And one of my brothers had a creepy friend. He creeped me out. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, but this boy creeped me out. Well, my stepfather comes along. And I remember this day like it was yesterday, sitting in the kitchen and my brothers and them coming in the house and this boy coming with him. And my stepdad looked at me. And I never seen him look at me like dead in my face like he did, but he looked me dead in my face. And he didn't allow my brothers to bring no more of their friends over. And he knew this boy was making me uncomfortable. And there was no fight about it. There was no argument about it.
Because men...
remember him even having a discussion with my mother about it.
Men see stuff...
I don't remember any of them.
Men see stuff that a lot of times as women, we don't see. That's why when we talk about male predators, they look for the product of these single mother households. They're the most vulnerable, the easiest type to manipulate.
It was a blessing having him. He was life changing for us. He was actually the product of a good mother-father home. And when he and my mother met, me and my brother were at vulnerable ages. And we were in a household surrounded by adults. And none of the adults in the household picked up on that we were two little babies in a household full of adults. When he came into the house, he realized that. He understood that you got two babies here. You can't have, 17, 18-year-old boys running in your house, in and out of your house at all times of night. You got a daughter upstairs.
Yep.
He was the first person that I ever heard bring this concept into our household. And I have 3 brothers. No one ever discussed my protection in the house. And it changes. And I see in households with women that don't have men around that nobody is protecting the young. There's no sense of safety in the house for the young women. It's very different, between before my stepfather and after. Life changes.
When you understand, like when you genuinely understand the value of men and women, because women, we're valuable as fuck, and men are equally as valuable. When you understand this, you develop a space of like, I don't want to be a part of nothing that don't have men and women. Even when I go to female events, I look around for the male security. Because I understand that events like this, we're a target. It's a bunch of women. Where's the niggas with the badges and the little security shirts and like, I'm here, hey y'all, hey girls, hey ladies. Okay, I'm scanning the room. Where the security? If some shit jump off. Yes.
I noticed that people treat me very differently. Like if I'm between going out to dinner with my man or going out to dinner with some of my homegirls, the energy, a bunch of women together, or even a woman by themselves, you in public, at least me, I feel like I'm treated very differently than when I'm with my man.
Because I love what y'all saying, right? And this is so relevant. So in my early years of growing up, like 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade, ending part of middle school, I was a nerd tomboy, right? And so I was able to be around for a lot of the conversations that boys had. And when you get in high school, and then when I got in college, and you listen to the conversations that men have about what they could have did to a female after they got drunk or after they hit the joint, this is when you start to develop a new perspective on like the type of women that go through the things that they go through. Meaning like your type of personality attracts a lot of the shit that you go through. Men talk about how, man, bro, for real, I could have fucked, damn, big bro could have fucked. We just, we really weren't on that night, but she was wide open. I listen to stories with a lot of my dogs. They just laughing at how, bro, man, I met the bitch on the internet. She invited me over. Man, I went over there. Me and her watching the movie. I hit her with the whole, you look tense. You look, let me give you a massage. Let me run. Next thing you know, I got the bitch naked. They talking about it like it's a fucking game.
Real shit.
They do.
And Frank, you know what I'm talking about. I spent a good firm amount of years in the streets. Like I remember being in spots with all my dogs, and they just having conversations about plays they made on bitches. And it was never the females that my dogs knew was like, this a grown woman, she in school to be a nurse, she ain't finna let you come over our house, bro, you can't hold her car. Like, these women, they wasn't in there talking about them. They talking about the girl that like, hey bro, shit, I pulled up with a bottle of Hennessy, and she took two shots, bitch, I only took one, I let her hit the joint. Then I broke a pill in half. She hit that bitch. I just kept telling her how good she looked. She kept, niggas, I'm listening to them talk amongst themselves as just young men that at this time, all they trying to do is get some pussy. That's it. They ain't on no, no other shit. I'm just trying to, you and your whole fam. I'm just trying to fuck as many hoes as I can fuck. I ain't telling them I love them. I ain't, trying to put a baby in them, but me and bruh just keeping body counts on who can hit the most bitches in the city. This is how my dog's talking. I'm listening to them speak on, they targeted.
I was so shocked when I heard that, and after I heard that, it made me kind of change how I looked at them, like, dang, you guys be getting down like that? I didn't even know. It was like, it shocked me. When I found out, I was like, oh my goodness, this is
amongst
the hardest
and they let you do that. They was like, yeah, they said to do it. I was like, oh wow.
But this what I'm saying.
The hardest part about that shit, to me, the hardest part about that shit is if it's a woman that a nigga actually care about, and we see that shit can happen to your daughter or your son or whatever, if you have both, it's getting them to see it from your perspective, because they can't see it based off of the personality or the love they have for their child, so they can't see beyond it.
Yeah,
and
but
when you try to share that shit, they get upset.
But Frank, this is what I'm trying to say. We, all of us know as women, we don't have, because this is the thing. I watch my dogs do it, but I also, as I got older in my, 21, 22, going out with my homegirls, I seen them walk themselves into the shit. Like, I ain't giving the niggas all the credit. If you understand what I'm saying, they mamas raised them without a father. That's what first make you a target for one of my dogs. He didn't make you take the shot or pop the part of the pill. In no way am I saying my dogs was young. Like, I'm right there with them. They young. They just trying to experience pussy, get them some money in the process. So we hustling. They see a fine bitch. They get at her. If you that type, no daddy, raised by your mama, don't really got no sound sense of how to operate with men, they gonna go in by offering you a drink, vibe with your ass, give you a bunch of compliments you never got because you never had your daddy around for a man to make you feel love. So this feels, so good. And my dog gonna smash. Later on in life, I done went out with groups of girls. We get to the club. Bitch, I'm finna get pissy drunk. Bitch, you know how I get off this Patron. Bitch, I'm finna. By the time we leaving the club, they pulling down their drawers in the parking lot, pissing on the outside of the car door before they in they hot girl summer shit. And niggas is watching and them the ones, hey, Red, hey, over there in the white car, hey, y'all, pull up over here. And I'm knowing me, I got my daddy in my life. I done experienced certain shit. I'm knowing, like, this nigga calling us over there because he done picked out my homegirl as the one. These niggas ain't never said nothing to me. I've never been that girl, and it ain't because I'm better than them. I'm telling you, it come from my upbringing and my understanding about life, my ability to care about information and peeping what's going on. I ain't never been that girl that a nigga offer a drink or hit the joint to, and then later on we end up fucking it. I don't even know your name and you don't know me. Never been that. But I understand the inner workings of where it comes from. This is why, for me, I don't want to sit and talk about how the young boys need to do different or how the girl. I want to talk about how we as mothers, parents that's bringing new children in the world, how we need to value them, having both parents to get a sound sense that this shit is going on. I never even attracted it is my whole point. I never had to hold a nigga accountable or yell at him or turn down. They never tried it with me. Even before I knew all the stuff I knew now, I've never been beat up. I've never been degraded. Like, got in one of them arguments with a nigga where he pussy ass bitch and I'm pussy ass. I've never experienced, because I've always had a sound sense of like how a man's supposed to treat you. Even when I wasn't with the most upstanding men, they never tried their worst with me.
I agree, Dorsey. Like, I had my fair share, but I've never experienced what some of my ex-friends experience with men. Even with the saying, you know how they say women don't date the same man. And I didn't understand that until we would run across the same dude, but it wasn't the same dude. How he acted with her, he didn't act with me. That's why we never knew we were talking to the same person until we saw their face.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, why he talk to you like, never in a million years have a man ever said something like that to me. But it goes back to what you said. I feel like men treat women accordingly.
Yes. That's why, Chrissy, that is why, if you understand my platform, I am teaching women how not to be that girl. Fuck trying to check a nigga. If you just be different, that stuff won't even come your way. It's certain shit with co-parenting. If you just get a certain mindset about your co-parenting, a lot of weight will be lit. It's so much stuff I just don't go through.
That's real love. With me, if I talk to a woman and I can't remember your name, you ain't worth shit. It's just fast on. If I can't remember your name, you're not really that interested. Like, you can't talk. And me, I like to talk. And a woman that can debate with me and give me different perspective outside of her experience, I like shit like that. And I like sparking up conversation because it helps me realize, like, okay, I can pay attention on how she's going to react based off of my answers, because my answers is not going to be the same as hers, or how I look at life, or how I look at a particular topic that we actually talking about. If I go against what you're saying, how would you take it? A lot of women can't take this shit because they only have one belief. You wrong. Okay, tell me why I'm wrong. And leave the conversation mad.
Right.
I did that a couple times. And it wasn't purposely done. It's just, I really don't care that you think I'm wrong. I'm still going to say it. And now I'm working your nerves. But why? I'm not trying to piss you off.
But
I look at shit like that.
But I'm going to tell you, Frank, even for you, the type of women you deal with determines what comes out of you as a man in regards to how open you are or you aren't. Even just the sex. Even the niggas with the most game will tell you, without them like predatorily picking a certain type based on, knowing that I could easily get it from her, they know that women control whether you get sex or not. Men don't control that. We control that. We control who gets sex. We control who get unprotected sex. We control who get access to. We control that. Niggas do not control that. The average everyday man don't even get as much pussy as he actually want. If men controlled sex, we'd be fucking a lot more than we already are. I want y'all to know that. Every single one of y'all, whatever nigga you talking to, times how much y'all fucking by like 10 if he was in control fully of the fucking.
Yeah, I'm taking the condom on right tonight.
Yeah. I wanted to add a point because you guys are really making me realize something. When I was younger, going back to the point you just made, I never was the one who got the attention. Like, none of my friends, all of my friends were the ones who pulled the men or pulled the boys that were out here looking to do what they wanted to do. And it always made me feel like I wasn't good enough, or like I wasn't, the one that was the it girl. So that it makes you not value being the girl who has both her parents in her life, or the girl who doesn't move the way everyone else moves because you don't get that particular attention. It wasn't until I got to be an adult, and even now listening to this conversation, that is starting to click for me. Because when Love said, it's the girl who's outside of the car, you